What up, yo? It's your boy. I know it's been a while, but I'm here. You know, I'm here. Um, what's up with us? Me and Antoya, we just out here in Houston, living, loving on each other, and that's what it is. Um, anyway, I just want to dive right into this. This is about miscarriage, when couples go through miscarriages, um, and how to deal with it. From my perspective, a male perspective, and my personal experience. I just want to say that. So I'm doing this because even though it physically affects the woman, it affects us too, the guys. So we don't need to act like it doesn't, even though I know as men we feel like we have to be strong, we have to support our wives, our significant others, but it affects us too. And I'm doing this for that reason. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is to help others. I want to encourage you to keep going, trust God, don't lose faith. He hears you. He's still there. And I also want to do this to inspire other people to take those feelings that you have, the ideas that you have, and the misplaced energy that you have, and use it for good. Use it to help somebody else. Use it in a productive way, a way that will benefit you in the future. So all the worry, the guilt, the shame, that won't benefit you. So I want to inspire you so that when you get through this, and you will get through this, that this helps somebody else. Use it to help somebody else. And excuse me. Also, so your testimony is only good if it gets told. So with that, I want to start with the day we found out we got pregnant. And I'm sure she told you this story, but from her perspective. So from my perspective, what I was doing that day, it was July 4th, 2017. I was studying for something. I'm in the den, we're in our apartment, and studying. She comes in with the test, and she's whispering. She's in that whisper tone, So she's like, Derrick, I think I'm pregnant. And I'm just looking at her like, no lie, this is my reaction. She told me, Derrick, I think I'm pregnant. And I looked at her like this. You lying. That's what I said. So you lying. Come on, so no you weren't. So I was like, okay, I looked at it, I was like, okay, this thing say pregnant. So I was like, take another one. So, and we didn't have one. We didn't have another test there at the house. So she went to the store, she got another one. She got a box that had 2 in there, and one of them had the double lines in it, and the other one had, like it straight up just said yes or no, or pregnant or not pregnant, something like that. So she took the second one, the double line one, and it was pregnant too. So now we getting excited. We want children. We've been praying for children. So we getting excited. We're like, oh my goodness, like this really happening. And then we looked at each other and was like, might as well take the third one, just to be sure. So she took the third one. So it's just pregnant all around. That was positive, pregnant all around. So now we're just excited. We hugged. We had a moment. We actually had more than a moment. It was just all day. We were just happy, excited. We started thinking about stuff, thinking about our future and everything. We praising God, we thanking God, and all this. So it was just excitement all around. And so between that time and the 8-week checkup, the first checkup, like I said, we just thinking about the future. We thinking about baby names. We looking at cribs. We're really excited. And we told our parents, but nobody else. We told our parents. And so we get to the 8-week checkup, the first checkup, and like I said, I'm excited, we're excited, so I bring my GoPro, because I want to get all this on video. So we're in the room, and the doctor starts the ultrasound, and I'm filming, and the doctor calmly says, the baby looks small, it looks like it stopped developing at 6 weeks, and it's 8 weeks. And so immediately I stopped recording. I turned the camera off because I knew what was about to come. I knew, so I slid closer to Antoya and got, what I'm about to say right now is for the guys. At that point, at that moment, I knew I had to get into my husband mode, my husband responsibility mode, because I knew what was coming. She was about to ball out, and I had to be strong for her. Even though I'm sad too, and me personally, my personality is not that emotional, so I don't cry a lot. But something like that, yeah, that hurt. But at the moment, I'm trying to be there for her. So the doctor gives us this news, and she says, I'll give you guys a moment to process or whatever. So she walks out, and now I'm there for my wife. And that's what I'm gonna touch on this later on in the video. You gotta be there for your wife. And so she's crying, I'm hugging her, I'm holding her. And when you're hugging somebody, they can't really see your face. So that's when I let my few tears out. I actually cried, and I don't cry much, but this right here, it hurt. I don't care who you are, I don't care how tough you are. You lose a child, you lose a baby. No matter if it's 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, it's gonna hurt. So that's when I let mine out, and then I quickly, and then I tried to get back into my strong, husband mode for her. But guys, we have to realize, we have to accept that this hurts us too. We don't have to act like it doesn't. But like I said, I'm gonna touch on that later on in the video. So that was at the first checkup, and between that and the next checkup, 2 weeks after that, it was just sadness. We're praying every day, Lord, like let it be that the baby's just small, just developing slow. But that wasn't the case. The second checkup, we get back, and the doctor confirms, yeah, the baby had stopped. The baby's gone, basically. So after that checkup, it's just more crying, sadness every day. Me trying to be there for her. It just hurt. It's a traumatic experience. And I mean, it is what it is. So that's what happened. And through my eyes, I'm trying to be there for her throughout the whole process. So now that I said that, I'm gonna get to how I got through it, got over it, my personal experience and things that I know have worked for me. So number one, keep your faith in God. I'm gonna stress that throughout this whole video. I cannot stress that enough. Keep your faith in God. Pray, pray, pray every day. When something like this happens, we do one of two things. We either get mad or we get sad. A lot of times we get mad. We ask God, why God? Why did this happen to me? Why'd you let this happen to me? I don't break no commandments. I pay my tithes. I'm a good person. Why you let this happen to me? But I want to tell you, when you pray and ask God why, stick around and listen for the answer. Don't just ask God, why? Listen, because He talks to you. He talks back to you. So a lot of times we ask Him why and we don't listen. Every moment is a teachable moment. Everything that you go through, there's a lesson to be learned. So when you ask God why, I want to stress that you need to be still and listen for the answer, because he'll give you the answer, and it's different for everybody. So you can ask God, you can question God, ask Him why, but listen for the answer. Also, you can be sad. You're supposed to be sad. We're human. Things like this happen. You don't have to add, oh, I'm a Christian, like I'm supposed to be strong. God handles everything. You're also a human, so be sad, grieve. You're supposed to, but don't let your joy hinge on whether you have a baby or not. Your joy is supposed to be in God. And as hard as that is, that's the truth. Your joy is supposed to be in God. I'm gonna read this. It's from John chapter 16, verses 19 through 24. And this really hit home for me. So John chapter 16, verses 19 through 24, and it says, Jesus saw that they wanted to ask Him about this, so He said to them, Are you asking one another what I meant when I said, in a little while you will see me no more, and then after a little while you will see me? Very truly I tell you, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will turn into joy. A woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come. But when her baby is born, she forgets the anguish because of her joy that a child is born into the world. So with you, now is your time of grief. But I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. In that day you will no longer ask me anything. Verily, truly, I tell you, my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Until now, you have not asked for anything in my name. Ask and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. That right there, just after reading that, like that, just reading that just get me lit. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I can just walk off after that, because that touches on everything that this subject matter is about. It even uses the analogy of childbirth. But what Jesus was talking about in this passage was when he leaves this earth, when he goes to be crucified on the cross, he's gonna leave for a little while, but he's coming back. But he uses the childbirth analogy because it symbolizes like the pain that we're gonna feel when we feel like God is no longer with us. But he is with us. He's always with us. The Holy Spirit, he gave us the Holy Spirit. And so he's always going to be with us. But when he comes back, or whenever we receive that blessing, we're not going to be worried about the pain that we felt in the past. At that moment, we're going to know, oh, that was because this had to happen. This is why that happened. And we're going to be so grateful in the moment when God says yes, when God is in our lives, when he gives us the desires of our heart. We're not going to be worried about the past. So pain, grief, mourning, that all lasts just a little while. But joy, like it said right here, your joy will be complete. Only God can complete your joy. So don't let your joy hinge on whether or not you have a baby or not. God commands us to rejoice and be joyous. That's not a situational thing. Joy comes from God. So, like I said, I want to stress that. Keep your faith, don't doubt. I know a lot of times we doubt when things like this happen. I'm going to read something else from James chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. And that says, if any of you lacks in wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea blown and tossed by the wind. So we don't want to be blown with the wind. We want to be firm in our faith. When you ask God, he will give you something. If you have faith and believe that it'll come to pass. You know, don't ask God. There's no point in praying and then having doubt afterwards. There's no point in praying and worrying at the same time. So you have to have faith. I'm going to keep on stressing that faith, and I'm telling you what I know. These are thoughts that came into my head and what actually got me through. I'm not just preaching and telling you what the Bible says. This is how I actually got through it. You know, so keep your faith, don't doubt, and don't blame yourself. I know it's natural when things like this happen. You start blaming yourself and you start thinking, what's wrong with my body? Is something wrong with my sperm? And for the women, they ask, is something wrong with my womb? Is something wrong with my eggs? Don't do that. I know it's it's silly. I can ask myself, like, did I drink too much in the past? You know, and it's just, those are natural questions that come to us, but that has nothing to do with whether or not God gives you a child. God is bigger than anything that you've done in the past. He can give you a child through any circumstances, and that's the truth. That's just the truth. You know, now obviously, you go to your doctor, you ask her or him, is there anything you can do better to help have a child or not prevent something like this. But after that, you rely on God. It doesn't matter what that doctor says. You do what you can do to help the situation. If your diet is bad, of course you clean up your diet, but God is bigger than anything. So don't worry, don't blame yourself, don't blame your body, don't blame your past mistakes. You need to rely solely on God, and he will get you through it. Now, for the guys, now I'm talking to the guys now. You need to know how to console your wife or your significant other. Know how to console her, and that is huge. Number one, trust God. Number two, you need to support your wife. You need to learn how, what to say, when to say it, how to say it, or if you even need to say anything at all. And I had to learn that about my wife. Now, you guys know me and Toya are, we just different. Like our personalities are just opposite. So, actually, I remember in marriage counseling, we learned about our personalities, and apparently she's a green and I'm a blue, whatever that means. But but I had to learn how to talk to her in her language. You know, you've heard of the 5 love languages. You have to know what your partner's language is. You need to know how to reach her when she's hurt, when she's discouraged, when she's down, because a lot of times what is encouraging to you, it might not be encouraging to her. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's how it is for us. Like somebody could tell me, like, yeah, you just need to trust God and move on. You know what I'm saying? You need to just do X, Y, and Z, like straight to the point. With her, especially with something like this, with a miscarriage, you can't tell a woman, you can't just tell her, well, you just need to trust God and you know, and try again. You can't tell no one. You have to learn how to console your wife. I've learned that, now this is me, I've learned that about 80% is just listening, about 10% is just holding her, and then, no, about 15% is just about holding her, and then 5% is actually talking, saying something back, you know, and that's just what I've learned, you know, because a lot of times just communicating it's her venting, it's her getting things off her chest. You don't need to say anything, and I had to learn that. So when it came to me consoling her, I had to learn telling her stuff like, well, what did you pray about? Telling her stuff like, well, just trust God. That doesn't help, you know. So, but you have to learn that about your wife. And I learned that what helps is just me holding her. A lot of times I don't have to say anything, but that's just me. That's my experience. It might be different for you. So learn how to console your wife or your significant other. And then 3, know how to process it. And I'm gonna tell you this because a lot of times, like I said earlier in the video, guys, we walk around and we think we always have to be strong, be unfazed about things because she needs support. So we think we have to be strong. We can never let our guard down, be sad, cry, whatever. It's not true. You have to accept what happened also, because even though it physically happened to her, it happened to both of you guys. If it happens to her, it happens to y'all, you know? Don't try to downplay it or talk around it, walk around like, yeah, I'm straight. Yeah, I was sad, but I'm straight now. No, if you hurt, say, yeah, it hurt. It hurt me. And that's the truth. What I learned, I had to say it out loud because, like, the actual word, miscarriage, because for months, I couldn't even say the word miscarriage. And I didn't even realize that I'm walking around thinking I'm over it, but I'm not, because I could not even say the word miscarriage for several months. I would avoid the word at all costs. I would say stuff like, oh, well, you know, when it happened, blah, 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 or, you know what I'm talking about. And then, like, I wouldn't even say the word. And I had to realize, like, dang, I'm not over it if I can't just say the word. We had a miscarriage. So I had to learn to say it out loud before I can accept it and embrace the healing, you know. And then, like I said before, use that energy for something positive. Don't sit around and soak. You can be sad, but do not dwell in your sadness. As hard as that is, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but you can't dwell in that. Use that for something productive, either for you or for somebody else. You can draw, paint, write, sing, dance, go work out. There's a lot of things you can do, but use that for good. And then finally, trust God and try again. Try again. You can wait a little bit until you get over the pain. Try again, because if God has given you a vision, it will come to pass. It will come to pass. He doesn't, if he promises you something, he never reneges on his promises. He keeps all of his promises. I'm going to read you these verses to let you know, to encourage you that God is always there. Mark chapter 11 verse 24 says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours." Luke chapter 11 verses 9 through 10 says, "So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks, the door will be open." And finally, John chapter 14 verses 13 and 14 says, "And I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. So you may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it." These are promises. All these verses, Jesus said that. Jesus said those things himself. These are promises from Jesus, the Son of God. You don't have to worry about anything. As long as you're keeping his commandments, trying to walk righteously in his word, you don't have to worry about anything. He keeps his promises. He never leaves you. So I just want to encourage you guys, just so remember, guys, this affects us too. We don't have to act like it doesn't. Have a healthy way of tackling the issue. Know how to console your wife. Trust God throughout the entire process. Be encouraged and be inspired. And that's all I got. So